Hey guys, and welcome back to part 2.
The easiest place to start our analysis, and the thing that starts toppling some of the other dominoes in this puzzle, is with the character Beauty, one of the monsters that stalks Mary around the house. Appearing only when Mary looks at a mirror, wearing a tight black or purple dress, and sporting a flawless mask, it's not too hard to identify Beauty as the embodiment of Mary's physical insecurities. Beauty constantly mocks Mary and laughs at her imperfections. This character represents Mary being haunted by the fears that she has over her own self-image. The fact that she won't be able to live up to the societal pressures of what she should look and behave like. Pressures from social media, mainstream media, even her peers. According to the Millennial Cohort Study, a study that looks into financial well-being, parenting, education, and health in children, almost 40% of girls who spend more than 5 hours a day on social media show signs of depression. And of those with depression, they're 2.5 times more likely than boys to be dissatisfied with their appearance. That is the essence of Beauty. So if one of the monsters that are haunting Mary is an expression of her own personal fears and insecurities, in this case her self-loathing, it stands to reason that the others must be as well, right? Well, it's a theory that certainly seems to hold true for our second monster, the Veiled Lady, the first one that we're introduced to during those final moments in episode 1. Found in the videos Hello, Worse, Discovery, Do Not Touch, Hide and Seek, Check-In, Rain, Gone, and Last 8 Months, when we first meet the Veiled Lady, she's just a creepy thing that we see at the end of the video. However, as the series continues on, and as more and more of the monsters show up in her house, the more aggressive the Veiled Lady becomes. Not only does she appear more frequently than all the other entities, and appear to be a ringleader of sorts, she's also the only one who's able to directly speak with Mary. In the video titled Hide and Seek, we get an interesting interaction where the Veiled Lady asks Mary to participate in a game of questions and answers. When Mary asks the Veiled Lady what she wants, we get ourselves a pretty straightforward answer.
You don't understand that you are worthless. You're impulsive. That you are worthy of happiness.
And that answer fairly well spells it out. The Veiled Lady is symbolic of depression, and it's that depression that's acting as the root cause of everything else that's happening inside the house. The reason the Veiled Lady appears the most frequently of all the monsters, the reason she gets stronger as more of those monsters appear, is because they all feed into her. They all feed into depression. Take Beauty, for instance. Those insecurities of not being good enough, of not meeting society's pressures for physical appearance, those all feed back into the depression that Mary is feeling, making it grow deeper, making it grow stronger. The same will hold true of all the other monsters that we're about to discuss. Later in the game of questions and answers, Mary asks a different question. Who are you? And the Veiled Lady responds, This is quite a literal answer. Mary does indeed know the names of all the issues that she's dealing with. Things like depression, self-doubt, anxiety, self-loathing. And if that doesn't drive our theory home, when Mary asks yet another question,
I don't understand. What does this all mean? I just don't get it.
The Veiled Lady responds with, "Oh, Mary, you already know. After all, you made us." Giving us pretty solid evidence that these monsters are indeed all products that exist inside Mary's own mind. So that's 2 of the 4 monsters in the house, and quite honestly, they're the 2 most obvious. The others are a bit more speculative, but I think I've got a good handle on them. We'll call the 3rd one the Shadow, because it's a human silhouette found in the episodes Goodnight, Sleepwalker, and Rain. The Shadow is most notably seen approaching Mary in situations where she feels safe. We see it looming over her while she's on the internet, and we see it crawling over the foot of the bed as she's sleeping. Other than that, it doesn't really do all that much outside of being creepy. There is, however, another notable trait that it seems to carry with it. Whenever it's around, we tend to see phrases flash on screen. "I feel nothing" is one of the most obvious. We can find this statement, along with other related sentiments, on Mary's Twitter, saying things like, "I hate looking at it. What does it even do? It just follows me around, and when I look at it, I feel all terrible." In fact, that theme of looking at the shadow and feeling bad seems to be the primary things that she's trying to communicate to us about this entity. In another tweet about the shadow, quote, "I don't like looking at it. Staring directly makes me feel bad." This, in my mind, seems to point to the shadow being representative of regret. Regret is one of those things that lingers, that follows follows you around and that you can largely ignore. But once you start thinking about it, once you start looking at it, you start to feel really bad about yourself and the decisions that you've made in the past. It makes you feel like a terrible person. It's slow, it's creeping, and regret never truly goes away. Exactly the things that Mary says about the shadow on Twitter. Quote, "It's watching me. Why doesn't it move quickly? It's like it wants me to feel like this. It's looking at me right now. At least, I think it is. I'm gonna go into another room and close the door. It will probably open it." Regret looms over you. It follows behind you. It's like a shadow. In Sleepwalker, we see the phrase, "I messed up," over and over and over and over again on the wall as it creeps up behind her. And not seconds later, it's on the couch, uncomfortably close. The messed up tells us exactly what we need to know here. Mary made a bad decision, and the shadow is the entity that reminds her of that. Which is why the next phrase that we see in the briefest of flashes is, "I get what I deserve." She made a mistake, and now she feels like the shadow is her punishment, the thing that she rightfully earned because of that mistake. Based on the intimacy of the shadow, the fact that it's able to get so close to her, the fact that it's largely associated with the bed and sleeping, I'd say this is a series of regrets born out of getting intimate too early in a relationship, or getting pressured to do things that she wasn't quite ready for, which would not only prompt the regret that she's experiencing, but also that empty nothingness that she feels whenever she's reminded of that moment by the shadow. What should have felt special is now cold, hollow, empty. She feels nothing. Which leaves us with one final entity in the house, the Darkness. Found in the episodes Darkness Moves, Do Not Touch, and The Last 8 Months, the Darkness isn't so much a humanoid figure like the others, but rather a spidery essence that branches and creeps around. On Mary's Twitter, she plays a game with her future self called Guess Which Entity based on the ways to deal with it. And while she has a solid solution for 3 of those entities, the Darkness is the one that confuses her the most. Let's look at those tweets and play along, shall we? Don't hang out near mirrors, obviously referring to beauty. Move around every once in a while. Don't settle in one place, and especially don't fall asleep. The reference to sleep here seems to indicate to us that this is the shadow. Run very, very fast and also hide, but you can't hide for long because she's smart enough to find you, so you have to do it all night. Well, since Mary specifically refers to this one as a she, and we have a very obvious connection to beauty in the other tweet, this is definitely referring to the Veiled Lady. But then we get to tweet number 4, and we have ourselves one last remaining contestant in this little game show, the Darkness. Still not sure about this one. Try your best to ignore it and stay far away from it. In the video Do Not Touch, she actually catches the Darkness, but instead of being in her palm when she turns her hand around, it's stuck on her palm, with the words "I'm a monster" appearing on screen immediately after. At this point, we suddenly enter a frantic montage of scenes where we're shown all the other entities in the house in rapid succession. Something of note here is that boundaries suddenly seem to be gone. Beauty is no longer trapped inside mirrors and is able to remove her mask, revealing the ugliness underneath. The shadow has suddenly grown taller. The Veiled Lady looks way more enraged and aggressive than normal. Since all of this craziness happens right after the Darkness absorbs itself into Mary, I'm inclined to think that this one represents anxiety. In Do Not Touch, Mary chases after the Darkness. It's actually one of the few times in the entire series that she tries to face her demons head on. But when she finally gets a handle on it, what does she get in return? Basically a panic attack. She's overwhelmed by all the entities attacking her all at once to a degree that the series has yet to see. And the behavior of anxiety matches the actions of the Darkness. Anxiety can creep and slowly devour you, or it can just jump out and attack you all at once unprompted. It entangles you, it ensnares you, it amplifies all your existing problems to a new extreme. And anxiety has no face, it has no name or identity. Instead, it's the collection of all your other problems balled up and tangled into one. All of this matches how the Darkness behaves when it's on screen in Hi, I'm Mary Mary. When it absorbs itself into Mary, suddenly all her existing problems get amplified and attack all at once. The Darkness may not seem like a lot, but it's literally inescapable, able to strike anywhere at any moment. So those are our 4 monsters, with the house Mary's trapped in representing her mind. A house that is plagued by demons of depression, anxiety, regret, and self-loathing. But our story isn't done. There's a 5th and final monster we've yet to cover. One that doesn't roam the house. One that lurks outside. One that may just be the most sinister and dangerous evil of them all. But more on that in an upcoming episode. If you guys really like this one, maybe I can squeeze it in for next week. Let me know down in the comments if you like this one and if you want me to continue analyzing the series. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button you see on screen right now. And in the meantime, while you wait for that video to get released, check out the box to the left where I cover Local 58.
Go subscribe to Matt Pat. If it sounds like I don't feel well because I don't, I have very stuffy nose. Anyways, see you next week.